Well, hello, everyone, and welcome to Junk to Jewels podcast with Georgette, Beck. I am so excited to be here. This is such an honor to be able to talk and see you all and hear you and just get to know everyone that's listening and watching. Today's special guest is a dear friend of mine that I had the honor and privilege of meeting at Go Get It Girls Network. Oh my gosh. So let me just introduce you to her. Today's guest is Caite Corripio. And she is a certified health and wellness coach, and a co-founder of Healthy and Vibrant. After a successful career as a CPA and corporate executive, she made a major life shift. I love that. She's lost over 80 pounds and is dedicating herself to helping others reclaim their health. She's coached thousands of women and professionals to build habits that actually stick. Caite just sat and passed her board certification and brings grounded, relatable approach to everything she does. You're going to love her energy and insights. Please welcome Caite. Hi, Caite.
Hi. How are you?
I am fabulous. How are you today?
I'm fabulous as well. All good.
I love this. I love what you're doing because I'm sure I'm speaking for the billions of us on this planet that health and wellness is a very important, critical topic. And I've struggled with my weight since I was a little girl. Sadly, it started with the insecure issues. I wasn't overweight, but when I looked in the mirror, I saw something. And that is what do you call that? There's a word for that. That what you believe in your head, you bring about. And that's what happened for me. But I'm so glad you're here. So let's dive right in. First off, I love to find out who people are and where they're from originally. So can you just start us off at the beginning, where you come from with your family of origin and who you were as a young person, and bring us up through your ups and downs of life as you went through different seasons, your teenage years and young adult, etc. So let's just start from the beginning.
Oh my, this could be long. So I am actually from the Philadelphia area, from Philadelphia. I have a twin sister. We found out we're identical just a few years ago, but I'm one of 8 kids. And
oh my gosh, I love that. So Scott has twin daughters.
Okay.
And so I connect with you on that. I could not tell them apart when I first met them until I got to know them personally. And then you see the differences and different ways they act or speak, and you could tell them apart that way. But I love that. Oh, how beautiful.
You know, it's fun. Well, I'll tell you, one, being, 2 of 8 kids, we were a party wherever we went. I mean,
exactly.
We were. But, and Beth and I, some people will look at us and go, absolutely identical. And other people will go, not a chance. And we're just like, that's not how it works. Just so you know.
I love that. Wow. 8 siblings.
Yeah. 7 siblings and me, right? So 8 of us.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was a fabulous upbringing, wonderful parents. We didn't have much. My dad was a union painter, laid off every year. My mom with 8 kids, she was home with us. But you know what? We never, I guess, as kids, you want things, but we never felt deprived. I mean, we had love, right? And we had fun, and, we didn't go on big vacations. I think we took like a week down the shore every 3 years, maybe. So we have such a close family. And even though I've been for 30 years, 1,000 miles away from everyone, they're still all up in the area. I moved to Florida, but we're still a very close family, get together, for different things. They all get together much more, but I try to go up once a month to visit.
Yeah. Oh, that's really important. I love the fact that you come from such a close-knit family. And I think that's why some of your good, strong foundation that you did not feel deprived, because y'all had each other. Yeah. And that was a priority and valued, I believe. That sounds good. Yeah. Oh my gosh, I love that.
So it was fun. But, growing up, we went, we went to a small Catholic school. Well, there was a school and a church and a bar on every corner. So, but we went to Catholic high school, and which was just a great experience. It was in Center City, Philadelphia. Went to college. It was funny. We had the option, like you go to, it was kind of like it wasn't really an option. It was you're going to college and figure it out. Right. So we did. 7 of the 8 of us have, college or multiple degrees. So that was interesting trying to navigate that. It's very different than my daughter is now 24, and her navigating the whole college application and figuring it out was a lot different than mine. Mine was, we didn't know even college names. It just wasn't something that was, but it was good. But I had told my sister, because people always, like Beth and I, and it was like, sometimes, believe it or not, and hopefully Scott's daughters never had this happen, but we would actually have somebody would come to our birthday party and give us one gift, like a t-shirt.
Oh my gosh, I have never heard of that in my life. And I don't think they have ever experienced that. That's really interesting.
Yeah, it was sad when you're like,
when you're a kid, you want your own gift. Oh my gosh, so they thought you guys will just share alike because you're like identical.
And but when it came time for college, I was like, all right, here's the deal. If you stay home, I'm going away. And if you're going away, I'm staying home. I'm like, because, everyone was like, oh, it's so cute. Are you going to go to the same college? I was like, what? Like, stop. Yeah. I just needed to be away.
You wanted to see what your independence would be like to see that. Yeah. I can understand that. I can understand that. Wow.
My sister would be like, she was like, what? Like, it's okay. And I'm like, no.
So did you go through a loss? Like, cause I remember when Scott's twins, when they got older and all, they stayed together throughout college, and then they met people, and then they got married, and then now they're living in different states, which they're not fans of. Yeah. And they look forward to other get-togethers, but it was like another loss when they did that.
Yeah, go ahead, sorry.
Yeah. No, I was going to say, we went through divorce. They all went through a divorce. I think that was the first loss. And so that made it even harder. Like, it was another loss, different than death. Divorce is different than death, but it's still a loss. But did you feel that, like, when you left? Because usually when you leave home, you feel a little bit leaving the nest. No,
I think I was so, when you're with 8 kids, and we had a grandma move in, and we were in a twin home in Philadelphia. I mean, we didn't have a lot of space. So she moved away for college. I stayed home, and we kind of, I'll say we grew apart a little bit, but not like a permanent. It was just kind of like, I had friends, she had friends, and, we just weren't as close. And it was interesting. She got married at 23. So she got married young. And we kind of, once again, we had that little divide because she's married, she had kids, but it wasn't completely, right? I moved away down to Florida. Gosh, I was 20, I don't know, maybe 27, 28. Mm-hmm. So, but we were close when she started having kids. I was there all the time, but we were just kind of in different worlds.
Yeah. Right? Different. That's a different realm, a different worlds. And so it sounds like you left the nest and soared and flew.
I did. I did.
Yeah. I did. Yeah. And it was a different relationship now. It evolved.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
And, it was funny. She had 3 kids before I got married. I got married till I was 31. So it was very different, but we started, talking all the time, and, we talk on a daily basis, and now we work together. We have a company together, and it's kind of like come full circle, which that's
really special.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. All right. We're not quite at the other end yet. So you had a great time pursuing your education. I don't know about you. Well, I was supposed to go to college after, but I was too afraid to leave the relationship I was in. So we got married a year later. I stayed home. Mm-hmm. But anyways, when God brought that back for me, I was the happiest student because I love learning. And I think you do too. I could see you probably enjoyed every part of your educational journey, right?
Yeah, there were some parts that were more challenging than others, right? Just circumstances, things that happen.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Where did you go to university? Where'd you go?
I started at Drexel, Drexel University in Philadelphia. But when they kept raising the tuition, remember, I'm funding it on my own. I had to leave, and I got a full-time job and went to Temple University at night. So I did that, graduated. Then I went back for my Master's of Management at Penn State in a campus outside of Philadelphia. So I have a master's. And then I got my CPA license. I got certified in Pennsylvania and in Florida. I went, and then I recently, I did a couple other just things that pop up, and I'm like, oh, I want to learn about that. But I think the next biggest one would be, becoming board certified, become a board certified health and wellness coach. So,
yeah. Now, so when did you get into the CPA? What drew you there?
So that I went to, all right, this is kind of crazy. In high school, I was working a part-time job, and there was an accident. There was this big, heavy pipe, and it went, and it was falling, and I went to catch it, and it smashed I broke my bone in my fingers in my right hand.
Oh my gosh.
But here's God works in mysterious ways, right? Well, to us, but because I was annoyed with people going, oh, we can take the same classes and blah, 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 blah. Beth said she was going to take whatever, algebra and chemistry. And I went, well, then I'm going business. I'm going to take typing and stenography.
Oh my gosh.
Which kind of blew my mind. Like, what was I even thinking? But it didn't matter. That was,
love it.
Now, there's no way. This was like a week before school started. And I went into school, and I'm like, well, that's not happening. I had this cast, you can't take those classes, you can't hold pen. It was very interesting. They said, well, let's just take your sister's roster. They photocopied it and said, now it's yours. So oh my gosh. But that is what enabled me to have all the credits to get into college. Like, if I didn't go that route, my life would have been different. And it was, I know, right?
That's an intervention. Yeah.
Yeah. Which I actually completely forgot about until just now.
Yeah. I love how that happens. Not that it's sad. I mean, you had that injury, but you were being kept on a certain track. It wasn't time yet for you to go take off on your own yet.
Right.
That desire was in there and growing, and for good reason. And it was meant to be, but not yet. Right. I love that. That's a good lesson for us all, because a lot of us have experienced detours, I call them. And I remember one time I was driving and I saw the detour sign, and it hit home that actually, it's weird how this works out. The detours end up being exactly a part of our fate. Like, it was meant to be. It's weird, but wow.
Yep.
So you got into college with the credits you needed because you were kept where you needed to stay.
Right. But it was interesting because senior year, I was like, wow, maybe I should take some of those classes. And so I went and I took an accounting class. And to me, it was the easiest thing that I've ever done.
Yeah.
And I was like, so when it comes time for college, I was like, well, I was like, do I go to a 2-year college? Do I do and I was like, well, let me just apply and see where I get in. Yeah. And I get into Drexel, which is a great school. And they actually, between the grants and the loans and what they gave me, I was able to go for my first year. And it was awesome.
I remember in high school, I too loved accounting. I did the business track. I did that, the typing and all of that. And I loved it. That's excellent. Oh my gosh. So, all right. So how was college life? You were working too. So you were very responsible, going to all the classes and working. And that's a double load. But it's part of what you're doing. It's kind of, you're just going with the flow of it.
Yeah. Yeah. You know what? I didn't know any different. I remember one of my uncles said at a party, he was kind of like, well, it was almost like a challenge. Like, he didn't think that, he's like, when you start making the money at the job, because I was working, you're not going to finish. I remember thinking, are you kidding me? Do you know who you're talking to?
Yeah. No, I know why he said that, because a lot of people, and that's what, there's two camps on this. some people are like, I'm going to take a year off, travel and go do that, right? Before I go to finish my higher up education. And I think there's a purpose for that. But if you're on the track for that, because I do love those opportunities where people went to Europe, for instance, for a year and then went back and went full time. But I also know, because I too, I'll go back to school, you never do, because life takes over. So I understand why he said that, because when you feel like you're okay and doing okay, why do you need to do all this hard stuff? Like, it's hard double working, working and going to school and doing your homework and writing those papers nonstop. Right. I get it. But no, you had a determination.
Well, I was going to say, I think once again, looking back, divine intervention, because by him saying that, it kind of got my back up. And I was like, oh. I'm like, watch me, like this. So there was, it was, I didn't waver. It was like, okay, how can I make sure that I graduate and blah, blah. And, I graduated a year behind my friends, but it was okay. I'm like,
done. Yeah, you got it done.
A little time, right?
Yeah, absolutely. You got it done. I love that. Now, when did you meet your first, when did you meet your special person?
So I was working and I was traveling Monday to Friday. I was a consultant, a senior consultant for a company, and we were traveling to Atlanta. And I had met someone before at a wedding who came down to visit for the week. And that was actually not a very good experience. It was, he was,
and I don't love it.
No, well, hold on. He was one person at the wedding. He comes down to visit, and it was a friend of a friend. It wasn't like some creepy guy.
Yeah.
Just, when he actually came down to visit, I was like, we are not in common. Like, it was just,
it hit you.
He liked to drink. He was telling me just different stories of things that he did. I'm going, I actually asked him to leave early.
Oh my gosh, Kate, power coming from you right now.
I was like, I think you should go home early.
Oh my God. Take note, people listening and watching. If you already know that this is not a vibe, why waste your time? Wow. You were like, usually polite folks, I would like finish the evening out, and then I would even have a hard time saying this person is not for me, out of the fear of not having enough, or that fear of not meeting someone. Whoa. That is amazing. Wow.
To the airport early, said, I'll take you. And but here's what happened. So the next night, and I was at this time, I'm in my master's degree, and I was writing a paper for my international business class, and it was a Friday night, and I was sitting, so the first night was the Friday night. And that's when I was writing a paper. He was coming in Saturday morning. I was down in the lobby bar. It was just like a piano bar. It wasn't a bar, it was a lobby. And I was sitting there working on my laptop, working my paper. I'm in sweatpants, sweatshirt, I'm on a love seat, and my feet are up, and the whole bit. Drinking a glass of wine while typing. And, at some point, all of a sudden I look up and I see like these legs, like there's a couple sitting across from me. And I was like, oh, I realized this guy was with this couple. And I was like, here I am taking I was like, oh gosh, I'm sorry. And I move over, and he sat down next to me, and everything he said, I was like, wait, like what? It was the connections that we had, like just the things that I could tell he valued in his family, his parents. We talked about how much we love to travel, and he said, where is, of all of your travels, where is the best? And, I was said in my mid 20s. And I said, I'd have to say Colorado Springs was probably one of the most beautiful places. And he just looked at me. He was a pharmacist. He lives in Florida. And he said, I actually have my Colorado pharmacy license because it was just like, we're like,
yeah, too much serendipity. It was serendipity.
It was crazy. And like we just talked for hours. And, brother and his girlfriend, they went up. And when I was like, oh gosh, like I really need to get to bed. And it was funny. He goes, well, I'll walk you up. And part of me was like, this is, and I was like, I'm like, okay. So he walked up and goes, hey, would you be willing to give me your address? I can send you a postcard. Like, he didn't ask for my phone number. He didn't ask. And I was like, okay.
Yeah.
I know. So he went to pull a paper out of his pocket, and out came a pair of rosaries. And I was like,
wow. So the same thing.
yeah, never in my life seen a guy carry a pair of roses.
Wow.
So that happened on Friday. This other guy came in Saturday, and it was like right away. I was just like, not my guy, and sent him home.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. That's one of the things that I noticed that I learned the hard way. And now I can share with others that when in doubt, don't, but it's easy. It's like this. If it flows, keep going. But if there's resistance, if it's like you're trying to fit that square in a hole or circle peg, like if there's like a door and you're trying to move through a door, no.
Yeah.
I learned the hard way. I learned when I met the right one that it just every day flowed into the next day. And then, yeah, the conversation, you just never want to stop. Like, it's just this surreal experience. It's worth it.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love when that happens. It's so beautiful.
It was fun. So we did a long distance, him in Florida, me in Philly for probably for about a year. And then interestingly enough, I am probably just a few weeks away from my graduating from my master's, and I got laid off of my job.
Oh my goodness.
I'm like, what do I do now? And
Oh my goodness.
I was like, maybe it's time for me to move to Florida. I said,
I'm thinking that's a huge door that just opened.
But so it was interesting because I was like, hey, and actually I think what I said was, there's not a lot of jobs up here. And he's like in Philly. And I said, I think I'm going to look in Florida. And I said, are you okay with that? And he was just like, yeah. But it wasn't, and I remember people were like, what? And I said, no. Like, let me be clear. I'm not moving in with him.
Right.
I'm looking for a job and in the area because I think that we need to be in the same state to see if this is going to work. And if I could move back, I could stay here, like whatever.
Exactly.
And within 3 weeks, I found a job, and people were like, you're not going to make as much, and making the same amount of money, a controller position. Like
it flowed.
Crazy.
I love that.
And I was still an hour away from him, but it was perfect. An hour is nothing, right?
Yeah. So because we went lightly over it, but losing a job or when a situation changes, that's a hard thing. And yeah, you're scared, you're nervous, you're like, oh my gosh, what now? And those feelings are real, and we need to honor those. But at the same time, I love it that we can learn. And the older we are, the more we've had those experiences, that we kind of know the ropes a bit more. So hopefully people can just trust us in this wisdom, but they can learn it for themselves. But usually it's true that saying, when one door closes, another opens, or the window opens. But I learned in my situation too, Kate, I don't know about you, but God said they were strategic shuffles, strategic assignments, because shuffle, but they were painful shuffles. But that was the only way he was moving me from one place and opportunity and circumstance to another. I wouldn't have left, because we're creatures of comfort. We like to develop a deep root, but that's not always meant for us in specific places. But you asked the question, okay, what next? And then right away you were like, this could be the opportunity, right?
Yeah. It was interesting because of the timing. I was so close to finishing grad school, and I was like, okay. And I had just signed another year lease, and I went to them and I said, I was just laid off.
Wow. And the timing, like all of that.
And they were like, no worries. They're like, it's okay. We'll cut you free. You're good. And it was just it was absolutely God's intervention. It was his perfect plan. Would I have moved to Florida? No. It would never cross my mind.
No, because you were in your job. You're finishing your grads. No. That's why I call it they're just the shuffles, but they're painful at the moment a little. But if you get into the mindset where everything happens for a reason, they're like, what can I do with this?
Yeah. Yeah.
How can I use this? How can I learn from this? What's my next step? Yeah. So I love that. So you moved to Florida, and so you got the new job, and that's going well. So did that relationship work out?
It did. So I stayed, I ended up focusing and got my CPA, right? Got certified in Pennsylvania and in Florida. I was able to go through that. After about, we dated for probably another 2 years or so. And, and then at some point I was like, is this going forward or is it not? I'm not getting any younger. And I'm like, although I really thought that he was my guy, he was my person, I do know that God puts other people in your life. And I just said, if marriage isn't for you, I'm okay. I'm like, I will be fine. I am happy. I'm like, I'm not going anywhere. I'm like, but I'll send you a Christmas card. I mean, I truly said that. He was like, what? I'm good. But if you don't want a future together, it's okay. And I'm like, so you need to go and figure it out.
Yeah. Okay, let's just touch that for a minute, because a lot of relationships come across that exact circumstance. I know there's one person that comes to mind too. I remember her story. She stayed in a relationship because marriage was on the horizon, but he wasn't ready yet. But in her heart of hearts, she was. And here's the deal. And here's how you got to know. You got to love and trust yourself the most. And if your heart is desiring that deeper intimacy and committed relationship, that's for you to have. And give that other person the opportunity. But something else I remember, Oprah says this too, believe people, especially by what they do. Believe what they do. But if they say something and their actions are supporting that, believe them. And so, I love it. So you actually, oh my gosh, go girl. You are my superhero. Okay. You're a good role model for young ladies to pay attention to, because you were okay with you. And no matter what, you knew this, you wanted that deeper, you were ready to have that deeper, intimate relationship. And guess what? That's your right. That's a beautiful blessing. And why lose out on that?
But, let's be clear, that week that he went away, so to speak, to think about it, was probably one of the toughest weeks of my life.
Truth.
I remember going to work and I couldn't stop crying. And, I'm like, I told him, the president of the company, I'm going, I'm not getting anything done. And he was just like, it's okay. I mean, I would just sit and work.
Oh my God.
But all I did was cry, I think, for the week. Like, wow, it's over. Like, I really said that. Something bad. It was just kind of like,
so if he comes back, it's a plus. And if not, you already were doing the grieving.
Yeah,
you're already moving on.
And he called me and he said, I've been doing a lot of thinking, and he's like, I want to be with you. I want to do this. And I was like, okay. I mean,
you had to come to that conclusion and mean it and really know it. I love that.
And I think
you had to let him go. You had to let him go first. I love that. When people hold on to something like a bar of soap, it's going to squeeze out of your hand. And you did the open hand and let him go. In your heart and mind, you meant it and you grieved it. Yeah. That's how much you meant it. I'm seeing that. Yeah. Wow. You had to really let him go in order for him to come back, if that's what he was going to do. And that's anything important in life. I think any goal or dream, you got to want it, but then there's a point where you let it go to see if it's meant for you. Yeah. Oh. Yeah. Oh my gosh. So he came back. He said yes.
Yeah. And, we celebrate on the 13th of this month. So in just 10 days, we'll be 28 years married.
Oh, congratulations. Oh my gosh. I love it. I love it. I love 28 years. That's amazing. Congratulations. Yeah. But you stuck to what was important for you. You had your values mattered, your morals and your heart dreams, and you guys connected on the similar levels. Yeah. That's so important for successful relationships. And respect for each other, mutual respect and consideration and all of those things. You guys, your goals and dreams matter to each of you. I love that.
And you know what? It wasn't, I knew then, and I know now, of course, but it wasn't his question if I was the right one for him. It was he had seen so many marriages not work out.
Yes.
And had just had on the other side of those experiences just had to come to terms with it for himself. And so that was interesting for all of that.
Yeah. Yeah. No, and even more so nowadays, because I think people's integrity levels and their understanding of who they are has changed a lot. So marriage is a difficult thing. I mean, my husband and I, we just, in May, this is our second chance marriage for both of us, 21 years we just celebrated, and we're grateful. But it came at a price. We both had a loss, and we come with that baggage and those wounds. And it's not something we recommend, but I would do it again in a heartbeat. Marriage for me too. I value that commitment and what it means personally to me and to our family. And it's a good foundation for me. I believe that with all my heart. There's a reason for it. And I just thrive from that, like knowing that that's my foundation as a woman, as a person. So yeah, I think that's so special. That's so beautiful. So when you shifted from CPA, now that's a field to continuously bring in good income and wealth as you build up your practice and get yourself known. But when did it turn personal, like to the health and wellness space?
Interesting. As a CPA, I've always worked in corporate, so I really didn't do public accounting. But to me, the credential was important because it's funny, I was no smarter the day that I got my results than I was the day before. But all of a sudden, when I'm a CPA, people are like, oh, she's kind of smart. I've passed the test. So, but I've always been in the private sector. Commercial real estate has been my thing for 30 years. But what happened was, as time progressed, I was, so many people do this, right? They take care of everyone else but themselves, and taking care of the family, the kids, the job, all of the things you're like Dr. Seuss, trying to have everything up in the air, but I wasn't taking care of me. And it wasn't intentional. It was, I'll be fine.
Yeah.
As long as I got everyone else under control, I'll be good. And Beth and I, we would talk daily. I was living in Gentle Beach, working in Fort Lauderdale. So it was actually taking me 2.5 hours each way. So I had a lot of talk time. And we'd get together for funerals or weddings or whatever. One of us was always crying in the fitting room. So at this point, she's 100 pounds, almost 100 pounds overweight. I'm 80 pounds overweight. And it was just, I knew I wasn't healthy, right? And all of the blood work was coming back. It was high normal. It was normal, but it was high normal, right? Like I was trending in a bad way. And we talk about it. And Beth, she's a nurse. She's a clinical scientist. She's developing drugs to heal people. She's working on a sickle cell anemia drug. She's working on a kidney drug, like really big things to help people. And yet here we were on the outside. We were like, what are we doing? She found the program, wanted me to do it. I told her no. I was like, I'm going to do my own thing. Eventually, she came down to visit me, and she was down 17 pounds in 6 weeks. And I was like, whatever it is you're doing, sign me up. So, so she actually became a coach to help me. She still had 80 pounds to lose. It didn't matter. And she went to every possible training, all the things so that she could guide me. And that's what happened. Is she kept saying, we always said the two of us are going to work together at some point. And
my gosh.
Right. But in the back of my head, I kept going, not possible. Like, she is a scientist.
Yeah.
Like, where is that merging? Like, she was fine.
It wasn't time yet. I love that.
Yeah. She caught the vision though. And she was like, Kate, I think we're going to be doing this together. And my response to her was, you're insane. I'm like, I'm not thinking. She's like, no. So that's kind of how it started. After my belief started growing, as I started losing weight and feeling better, and people are like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
I need help. Will you help me? And so I just kept saying, yeah, my sister will. Yes, my sister will. And then finally I was like, all right, you know what? I think I may be almost ready. Like, I'm kind of one of those things. And so I started doing it with her and, helping. Even with the big, busy job, I'm a principal of a company, which is, a part owner, right? And I'm running international teams, and there's 7 different offices in Florida, and we're, merging software throughout the country, like all the stuff. But I was able to fit in the nooks and crannies, right? My drive time, things like that, of helping people. And unknowing, I was actually building an exit ramp from corporate America. I lost 80 pounds in 8 months, 10 years ago.
Beautiful.
And it's funny. What I think the biggest thing is, so many people think that when you arrive, like when you get to your goal, like, yay, we're there. And I thought so. I'm like, oh my gosh, when I get to my goal, man, it's going to be, I'm never going back, like all of the things. Mm-hmm. And that's not really the way it works.
No.
It's a daily fight. It's not a struggle, because some days maybe a struggle, but every day, you have to put on your boxing gloves. And
oh my gosh, let's touch on that for a second, because so you and I met through Go Getter Girls Network, and so you probably know this about me because I'm very open and I share my struggle. I equate to how we grow and evolve as people, and we heal. And I've worked on healing, emotional healing, heart healing, mind healing, all like since I call it the God rescue years, when I was at a bottom and God responded to my prayers. And a lot of it's documented in my book, which I forgot to mention, but I'll do it at the end of the show. The Junk to Jewels book there. It's very vulnerable. And I did a lot of mind work, and I went to counseling and small groups, and I read so many books about our thought process and how we believe about ourselves and who we are and all of that. But when you start to change and transform, and it's possible for every single one of us, we are not the same. Even our body and our brain changes every single day. So of course it's possible that we don't have to stay the same, but the fiber of us, as you are doing new things, achieving and accomplishing and receiving those dreams, there's you still a part of the package. And I call it the seesaw. It goes up and down. And then sometimes it's in balance, like it's equal. And I'm putting my hands up as a straight line that if you're finally all of you, like the new you, but it's a mix. And there's some days I struggle with the old, and it's like, how can I go forward in that space? Or some opportunity comes that I know I'm called to do it, but then you freak out and it's like, or you get so nervous why are you nervous? Because this is exactly what you love to do. You're passionate about it. You have the gift set, you have the experience, the wounds, you are meant to do it. So for everyone out there, it's true though, when you get that graduate degree, like I published my first book, but it's okay. That's why they say to celebrate every goal, because mentally, emotionally, you need to have that celebration moment, that moment that you mark. But it's a constant evolution. You are still owning yourself. You are still being responsible and accountable for showing up to the new levels. And every day we rise up to newer, higher levels. And this is life. It's a constant movement. Momentum and moving. And guess what? That's normal. And now I'm learning to embrace, so this new land I'm in, the uncomfortable zone, is my new space. Absolutely. Because as normal, healthy, wonderful people, to have real joy and zealousness in life and vibrancy, you're constantly challenging yourself to go higher. And that means you're going to feel uncomfortable like all the time. Get used to that, baby. But I like what you said, because you were like, okay, I've arrived. Now it's the next stage. And now you're board certified.
Yeah. Well, but even, because so many people, they'll reach their health. Well, they think it's their health goals, right? Let's just say a weight, because so many, there is people, the BMI, right? And the healthy weight range, there's goods and bads, right? And it's a generalized statement, right? It's not, it certainly doesn't take into effect your muscle mass, things like that, but in general. But what happens is when you get there, many people forget that there's going to be the daily challenges. There's going to be the disappointments. There's going to be the, excitement. And depending on what you used to do, like if you go back to doing what you did, when I'm stressed, and I go to the candy, or you want to celebrate and you have the wine, like all of the things. What you'll find if you're not paying attention is you start to slip. And when my dad died, I'll say unexpectedly, because he went in for a pacemaker and through a pulmonary, and he was only alive a couple of days after that. But what that did,
I miss my dad too. I miss him.
Yeah,
that's a shock. Aww.
Yeah, and it was interesting. Hindsight, right? It's not that I became an unhealthy person all of a sudden, but I remember we went back to my mom's place and people ordered us dinner, and all the chicken parm and the rolls and the spaghetti. And it was like, okay, like I was eating things that I wouldn't typically eat. And almost like a full year and I'm like, I'm okay. And then I realized, no, I'm not. And, it took a while. Actually, it did take that full year to really work through. Like, I think it was all of the seasons, all of the holidays, all of the birthday, like all of it, before I started to really come back to, wait, what habits did I let creep back in? Because we're not perfect. I strive to be. I think most of us do strive to be, but we're not. We can't.
But I think too, with the weight loss journey, so back in the day too, it was just about losing weight.
Yeah.
The number on the scale. Nowadays, so many of us are more educated and understanding. It's a package. And I've always believed that holistically, spiritual, mental, physical, mental, it's all meant to be together. Any journey you're on or anything you're trying to accomplish, all of those things have to be in sync. Don't you agree? So you were learning that life is going to have stuff come on us. If we don't learn how to be the new person that is this package or this outside, it's all together. So learning how to face a disappointment differently, celebrations differently, that's a big thing. And that has to go along for the whole ride. And that's part of what you do. I've read the successes on your website, y'all. You have to go to her website. We're going to plug it at the end, behealthyandvibrant.com. But she's got so many success stories on there. And that is it. Like you're finding out people and what their core story is, why, there's some of why we are the way we are and why we do. And some of it's human generality, like it's similar across the humanness of us all. But some of it's very unique and personal. We each come from a different background and different heart points, pain points. But it's what you do. You're doing the mindset too, your thinking and your habits and your daily choices. And it's not that you shouldn't not celebrate or not have something yummy and delicious. Matter of fact, you should. You don't deny yourself. It's just, how do you do that, right?
And I think for me, it's being conscious that, okay, I can have this, we went to our great nephew 1-year-old birthday party, and I had a piece of cake. And it's like, okay, I'm going to have a piece of cake. But for me and my, I'll say sugar addiction, I had to say, you will not have something tomorrow. I had to make sure that it was like, okay, one and done, because I could easily go, well, let me have something else. Like not that it's just that it would be a craving, because I will have, and I can, and of course you can do anything you want, but I knew it wouldn't serve me. So
exactly.
Yeah. So I just have to,
what do you want more of? That's what I work on in my head. I love Tony Robbins. He talks a lot about this, that, the short-term pleasure versus long-term pleasure, short-term pain versus long-term pain. And I'm still in transition on that, to be honest. That's my daily thing. Like, I am such a taker that I love to have fun in the moment. And I'm like, oh, bring it on, people. But then I forget my long-term goals require short-term pain. Like I really need to say no a lot more. And I'm working on that. I'm being honest. But if I really want to go and publish more books and stories and travel the world, and oh my gosh, I've got to get a grip on some things. Guess what? I got to get my head down and do the work and not just read books all day. Like, I have to balance myself out. That's all of us. Is that right?
We call it the structural tension, right? Where you are and where you want to be. And then there's different steps, and kind of breaking it down. Okay, well, if you want to, this is your main goal, is to travel and write books and blah. And here you are now. Let's break it down individual. And it's the same with people who want to get healthy, right? Whether they whether they want to just lose weight or because they're pre-diabetic or they're diabetic or they, or have high cholesterol or whatever, or they want to play with their grandkids, right? Even if they don't have them, but they want to make sure that they're around for them. But what steps can you put in today,
Yes.
right? And keeping your goal in the forefront of your mind.
Yeah.
So that, right.
And that's the biggest thing too, is to think about it. Because a lot of people are just going through life with emotions, but what we're doing today, every thought, every attitude, every action, every habit, everything is our tomorrow, is a year from now. So nothing happens overnight, and that's the truth. But we're getting that coming to our end here, Caite. And I always end the show with my favorite questions. I'm a reader, so first off, I always ask, "What's your favorite book and why?" And I know there's a lot out there, but what's yours?
Yeah, there are. One of my favorite books is The Gap in the Gain by Dan Sullivan and Dr. Benjamin Hardy. And I think that's because so many people, where we started and, where we want to be. And it's like, oh my gosh, but I'm not there. Right. But really this book takes you but look how far you've come.
Yeah.
And it's such a big thing. But I'll tell you, I actually just read a book this weekend, which is, I have it here because I just finished it. It was The Energy Bus by John Gordon. And I read it in just a few hours. It's a super easy read. And it talks about how you are driving your own bus and you get to pick who do you want on your bus and who shouldn't be on your bus.
Yeah.
And how are you going to keep your bus in the right direction? And it talks about having that plan and having, where you're going to go and your energy and that spreads to the people around you.
Yes, it does.
And that's how you will help get to your goal. And so it was a great little.
That sounds like something I want to read. So I wrote that down.
Well, it won't take too much time.
I love it. I love that. Do you have a favorite quote or affirmation?
There are so many. One of them is let go and let God.
Yeah. That's my daily prayer.
You know what? There was another one that someone told me, gosh, I'm going to back probably close to when I first got married, maybe even before I got married. I don't know. But it was, I cast this burden on the Christ within and I go free.
Oh, wow. That is powerful.
When times are hard.
Yeah.
There have been a couple occasions where I just repeated that while walking. I'm going to get emotional, but over and over until I felt it sink in.
Yes.
And it was like the way you're handing it over. And it's like, it's out of my control.
Can you say that again?
Yeah. I cast this burden on the Christ within and I go free.
I cast this burden on the Christ within and I go free. That is beautiful. Yeah. I'm going to take that.
I will let you know. The author is not in my head at the moment, but I will get you the author.
That would be awesome. I like that. If you could sit down with someone and have a glass of wine or a cup of coffee with anyone from past or present, who would you sit down with?
Who would I sit down with? So I would love to sit with my grandma Quigley, my mom's mom. I'm named after her.
I love it. I love a lot of things. I keep saying that. I love it. I love it. But it's true. I really enjoy things like that. Oh my goodness.
I would love to find out what's different. I did the Bible in a year and my husband and I are watching The Chosen, which
good show.
It's amazing. And what I'm really getting out of it is back in the day, there weren't much different than us. Right. And I understand that also because I'm doing the Bible in a year. Right. And I'm like, oh my gosh, even some of the terminology, I'm like, oh my gosh, it's craziness. Yeah. So I would love to sit with my grandmom and just kind of say, what's different now versus then? And what's the same?
Yeah.
And what do you see? And I just think it would be fascinating. Because I'm her namesake. And one part that I actually skipped over, not intentionally, was I was engaged when I was 21. Everyone kind of knew it was not right for me, except for me. And when it finally was, the only thing I could think of was, oh my gosh, grandmom's up there throwing bricks at my head. And that's what
you knew. And that's what made you move away. Oh my goodness.
It really was.
Powerful.
Yeah.
I can see you want to sit with grandma. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. What else? Oh, so if you could, well, we probably already answered that. I'm thinking maybe, I don't know, if you could talk to your younger self and talk with your younger self or someone in very similar circumstance, what would you say and why? Like, what would you say?
If I had to talk to my younger self, I would say, don't stop. Don't stop believing. Don't stop. You are meant to be healthy. I thought for probably more than half my life that I was just destined to take after my dad, the way my dad was built, the way my dad, he had and I say serious sugar addiction. I say that because he would have 3 desserts and he was on a sliding scale for insulin and would just at the dinner table and just increase his insulin, and that's an addiction. Let's just be clear. And I just thought that's what I was meant to be. And it would have been lovely if I would have figured this stuff out long before. I was in my late 40s, but there's reasons for everything, and it wasn't my time. But I would just make sure that I said, don't stop. Keep believing in yourself, and you're meant for greatness.
Amen. I love that. I love it. Caite, thank you so much for being a guest on our Junk to Jewels podcast. It's been such an honor to talk with you. And I know folks, they can connect with you at your website. It'll be in the show notes, all of the places. She's on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. But BeHealthyAndVibrant.com, all spelled out. So BeHealthyAndVibrant.com. Check out her website. Go read about her and her sister and read the success stories. I love that. You keep doing what you're doing and helping people come to their healthiest self, because that's where the true joy is, and it's possible for everyone. But thank you so much. And I just wanted to give a plug. Listen, Caite is certified now. I'm a published author. It's never too late to go after your dreams. It's never too late. Don't ever give up. And like she said, just keep going. It's possible. Thank you everyone for listening and watching or watching. And please subscribe if you haven't. We appreciate you. And reach out to Caite or myself at our websites. We would love to connect with you. Take care. God bless.